All right, so the Ottawa Senators have announced today that they have signed their first-round pick from last year's draft, Tyler Boucher, to an entry-level contract. And the Sens signing him to an entry-level contract right now comes totally out of left field for myself anyways. I did not expect Boucher to just get up and leave Boston University at this point of the season. Through 17 games played there, he only had 2 goals and 1 assist. So the numbers aren't great. And for a guy that was taken 10th overall, I mean, you probably want a little more offensive production than that. Now, he hasn't been able to score at the college level. We've seen that. Or at least through his brief tenure there, he hasn't anyways. I don't even think he gave himself really enough of a chance. But I mean, 17 games is a decent sample size, and maybe he just feels he's had enough of that. And he's now going to play for the Ottawa 67s of the OHL. They did draft him, they held his rights, so that's why he's going to play for them. I do find it a little bit concerning that Boucher can't score with men, with a whole league of men. I mean, obviously in the OHL we know there are some 16 and 17-year-olds, a lot of 16 and 17-year-olds. But, you know, in fairness to Boucher, he is only 18 years old. I'm not ready to write him off as a bust right now. I do still think it was a reach, them taking him 10th overall. But Ottawa, I mean, they've really taken on an old school mindset, a Don Cherry type of mindset where, you know, it's ground and pound all the way. And we're going to take more grittier players over more skilled guys. I just think you need a good amount of skill in your lineup. You need to be a speed and skill based team and then have the physicality, you know, have some guys, maybe 2-3 guys or whatever that like to get on the body and stuff like that. But you need a balance. In Ottawa, I find they're going too heavy on the heavy style of play, no pun intended. And I really don't know what to think about Tyler Boucher. I mean, you get Pierre Dorion, who makes it sound like this guy has a terrific release on his shot, and he skates very well. And those are great things, right? Those are great qualities to possess. Those are 2 things that I talk a lot about, you know, for a player to have, good qualities for a player to have in his game. But then there are also some outside scouts who said about Boucher when he was drafted by Ottawa that, you know, he lacks some NHL quickness. So for a guy who's a good skater, like Dorian says, he lacks NHL quickness? I mean, I really don't know who to believe. I would be more inclined to believe an outside scout, though, who says those things about Boucher just because of the fact that Ottawa is very biased towards that style of play, or at least they have become very biased towards that style of play over the last probably 2 to 3 years now. And some outside scouts said about him that he projects to be a very physical bottom 6 forward. And that's not something you really want out of a 10th overall pick. Now, there are going to be a portion of the Sens fan base that if this guy makes the team at some point, it won't be this year because he's going to juniors, but maybe next year or some years after that, if he makes the team even and makes the NHL, they're going to say, oh, you know, they see the Sens were right for taking him. Well, no, I mean, and not if he can't produce at a first-round level. If he comes in and he's like a 10-goal guy, maybe 20 points, but he's really physical and stuff, and he beats people up, I mean, no. That's not worth 10th overall. That's a guy who probably should have been taken in the 2nd or 3rd round if that's the player he's going to be. Now, I'm not saying that's who he is going to be. He could end up being a 20, 25, heck, maybe even 30-goal guy. I don't know if he will be a 30-goal guy, but maybe 20+, who knows. Like I said earlier in the video, I'm not ready to write him off as a bust. But, I mean, things are not looking good early on for him so far, or at least in his college career, they didn't anyways. Now, I want to touch a little bit on how the Ottawa Senators are building their team. And I know I've touched on this many times, and a lot of people have disagreed with me on that because there seems to be a lot of Sens fans in the old school Don Cherry type of hockey mindset where, okay, if that's the type of hockey you like, fine. But for myself personally, I just don't feel you can win, you know, playing only that style. And the Sens scouting staff, they only take a look at one type of player, I think, obviously because the organization probably only wants them to take a look at one type of player. That's a guy who plays a really abrasive style of game, borderline dirty, plays on the edge. I mean, you don't want a bunch of guys who play like that. And the Ottawa Senators, as they're constructed right now, they're not a team really full on like that yet, but you can kind of see signs of it. But they have some prospects coming in their system that I'm a little worried about as far as, you know, are they going to play with honesty, integrity? And I know maybe some of you are laughing right now watching this, but for myself as a Sens fan, I don't want a team full of guys that just run around and cause trouble. If you want to be a physical player, okay, fine, but do it within the rules, do it with honesty, do it with honor. I just don't want to see a team full of guys that are going to be picking heads and just not having the respect of their opponents. And in a league where guys like Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid exist, you probably don't want to have a game plan where let's take as many penalties and rack up as many penalty minutes as we can. Old school hockey fans will point to the Tampa Bay Lightning and say, well, look, they won with some physicality. They won with quite a bit of physicality. You know, they had some guys who like to get on the body. And yeah, that's true. I will acknowledge that. But with that being said, the Ottawa Senators don't have a Nikita Kucherov. They don't have a Steven Stamkos. They don't have a Braden Point. They don't have a Victor Hedman. They don't have an Andrei Vasilevsky. I mean, those are 5 like star or superstar players in the Lightning lineup that Ottawa doesn't have. So if you're trying to be really physical because, you know, Tampa Bay won with some physicality, we need to keep in mind that the Lightning are a very fast and very skilled team. And Ottawa doesn't have nowhere near the talent level that the Lightning have. I mean, honestly, you do need some balance, but I just don't like it when I see Ottawa going too far the other way and having too many physical guys and maybe neglecting a little bit of talent. And you're probably saying, wow, Luthio, I mean, what are you talking about neglecting talent? Look at Norris, Batherson, Stützle, Shabbat, I mean, guys like that. Kachuk even too, he's got some good hands and tight. Yeah, I mean, the Sens do have some talent, but look at how much more talent they could probably have if, you know, maybe they took a look at guys that were maybe not as big, not as abrasive, but they can score, they can shoot, they can make plays, they can skate. I mean, that's probably more important at the end of the day than having a bunch of guys who play an abrasive style of game. So those are my thoughts on Tyler Boucher signing his entry-level contract. Please let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. Also, please like and subscribe and share this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.